look, in terms of current trends, there's no doubt that if I look over the last 10, 15 years, there's a greater degree of scrutiny to justify why surveillance is used in the first place as an investigation technique. If I think back to the mid-90s and so forth, surveillance was nothing more than a major sort of fishing exercise. Let's throw some money at it and see how we go. Certainly that approach has changed tremendously over the last 10 to 15 years. And certainly there's been some changes in the legislation and requirements, say in New South Wales, and the disclosure requirements in relation to surveillance and the use of surveillance reports. But certainly as a general trend, now the insurers are a lot more conscious about the effective use of surveillance, a lot more conscious to make sure that you're using surveillance for the right reasons, that you've done some groundwork in advance. And is there another way of doing it? Is there another way of getting an outcome other than surveillance? There's the factual investigation side of things. Is it more likely to give you a better outcome? Do we need to do some further background checks in that particular individual? We might be able to find some information about the use of surveillance. And I guess that's a trend that continues to occur. And there's no doubt that digital technology, like everything else we have in business and our personal life, has changed tremendously over the last 10 years. And there's no doubt that the surveillance equipment that's used nowadays has changed tremendously as well. I mean, I can think back to 15 years ago, we thought we were quite sophisticated when we were able to get a pinhole camera and a tie pin. Well, no one actually uses tie pins anymore, but we thought the guys used to think they got all excited that they had a little pinhole camera and was connected through a wire and went round the back and went to a bag cam on the side, and they thought they were really sophisticated. Well, nowadays, you just have to look at the internet and you can see the sort of digital technology that's used in the surveillance area. Everything from your watch, your key rings to your phone and so forth. So the technology has improved tremendously. The other big change is obviously the internet, and we have found certainly over the last 4 or 5 years the use of social networking sites and like Facebook and MySpace, etc. It's become sort of a plethora of information that you can get from those sort of sites. And you'd be amazed even now how much information is actually available on those sites. It's a bit of a two-edged sword, because what happens is the clients, you out there, who sometimes instruct the surveillance, you become little mini sleuths, and you actually figured it all out before the investigation takes place. But it is an area that a real change in the sort of information that's available. And now the internet provides us with a lot of information that's publicly available, legally available, that wasn't there in the first place. So it's all part of the facts that you need to sort of put together prior to doing any surveillance work. And simple things like the use of Google satellite maps and so forth. That's just another tool that helps you work out exactly what the site is like, so that they can properly plan the job. And it's something that you as a client, when you instruct the surveillance, I'd encourage you to have a look at it so you can see if there are any difficulties from the point of view of actually conducting surveillance. You can actually physically see it, and we break this barrier between the FBI, CIA component of doing surveillance and the reality of doing surveillance in the workers' comp area. And there's no doubt there's greater public awareness. Every time there's a program on, say, on a current affair or this day tonight, we know statistically that the number of jobs that we do within that 2 to 3 week period after a program like that, and all of a sudden there's more jobs where the claimant becomes suspicious. There's more jobs where the claimant's not active. So there's a greater degree of public awareness, and that's something I think continues to increase in that regard. But the one big, I guess, change that I've seen is really the importance of making sure that surveillance is conducted in accordance, the emphasis on the protection of privacy and the rights of individuals. So to get a surveillance outcome, not at all costs, but to get a surveillance outcome that actually is in accordance with what I think is good ethical and legal practice along the way.